Welcome to another thrilling episode of Creeper's Lane. Smash the like button and join our growing community. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss out on bone-chilling tales. Get ready for a spine-tingling adventure. The haunting begins in the sprawling, isolated countryside of Kentucky, nestled among rolling hills. And surrounded by a sea of endless fields, stood the aging Henderson farmhouse. Its weathered facade held the memories of generations past, but beneath its time-worn exterior, something sinister lurked. On a moonlit night, as the wind whispered through the ancient trees, a deafening thud shattered the stillness. The Henderson family jolted awake, their hearts pounding in their chests. Their eyes darted around the dimly lit room, searching for the source of the unnerving sound, but all they found was an oppressive silence. Little did they know, it was the first tremor of an impending nightmare, a terrifying symphony about to unfold. From that night forward, the thuds echoed through the halls of the Henderson farmhouse with increasing intensity. Each jarring impact rattled the family's nerves, leaving them trembling in fear. The thuds were accompanied by a chilling aura, indescribable, presence that seeped into every nook and cranny of their home. As the days turned into weeks, the Hendersons began noticing other inexplicable phenomena. Shadows danced along the walls, their movements defying logic. Whispers like faint echoes from the abyss echoed through empty corridors. Objects shifted inexplicably, defying gravity's grip. The relentless assault of supernatural occurrences cast a dark cloud over the once serene farmhouse. Sleep became an elusive luxury for the Hendersons as they lay awake, their eyes fixated on the shadows that seemed to dance with malevolence. Fear gnawed at their souls, threatening to consume them entirely. Driven to the brink of desperation, the family sought solace from paranormal experts and spiritual guides. They scoured ancient texts, desperately searching for answers in forgotten rituals and incantations. But the darkness that enveloped their home seemed impervious to their efforts. With each passing night, the Hendersons' sanity began to crumble like weathered stone. Sleep deprivation weighed heavily upon them, their minds haunted by a collage of disturbing images and twisted nightmares. Reality blurred with the supernatural, leaving them unable to discern what was real and what was the product of their tortured minds. Communication within the family faltered as paranoia took hold. Suspicion and accusation tainted their once unbreakable bond. Laughter turned to tearful outbursts, and love transformed into a fragile thread on the verge of snapping. The relentless onslaught of the unseen terror strained the family's relationships to the breaking point. Words, once filled with warmth, became laden with resentment. Their home, once a sanctuary, morphed into a prison of despair. Each family member fought their own battle with the encroaching darkness. Sleep-deprived and tormented, they became isolated in their shared anguish, their individual nightmares bleeding into a collective tragedy. Desperate for answers, the Hendersons delved into the murky history of their ancestral home. They unearthed long-forgotten secrets, a tapestry woven with tales of betrayal, heartache, and untimely death. In their search for truth, they discovered that their beloved farmhouse was built upon a dark past, haunted by the tormented souls who once resided there. As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, they realized that their tormentor was not merely a malevolent spirit, but an entity fueled by a centuries-old vendetta. It sought retribution for past sins, and the Hendersons had become unwitting pawns in its twisted game. With their backs against the wall and their spirits nearly broken, the Hendersons resolved to confront the evil that had ensnared their lives. Armed with newfound knowledge and a glimmer of courage, they mustered their remaining strength for a final, grueling battle. In a climactic showdown between the living and the supernatural, the Hendersons fought tooth and nail to reclaim their home, their sanity, and their shattered family bond. Each member stared into the face of terror, finding hidden reservoirs of bravery within themselves. The battle waged on. The Hendersons' screams drowned out by the malevolent forces that surrounded them. Their bodies and spirits grew weary, but they fought on, fueled by the flickering ember of hope. In a moment of desperate inspiration, one family member turned to technology for salvation. They set up a live stream on Twitch, broadcasting their plea for hope to the world. Viewers watched in horror as the Hendersons, their faces etched, with exhaustion and desperation, begged for assistance from the virtual realm. But their cries for help fell upon deaf ears. The world watched, captivated by the spectacle, yet immobilized by their own disbelief. The Hendersons were left to face their fate alone, abandoned by humanity, and trapped in a nightmare from which there seemed to be no escape. The relentless onslaught continued. Darkness engulfed the Hendersons, consuming them whole. Their desperate fight turned into a futile struggle against an insurmountable force. Just as it seemed that all hope was lost, the farmhouse walls trembled with a deafening roar. A blinding light enveloped the entire property, causing the malevolent forces to recoil in fear. The Hendersons watched in awed horror as the very fabric of reality twisted and contorted before their eyes. From the rift in space emerged an entity unlike anything they had ever encountered, a being of pure darkness and boundless malevolence. It towered over the farmhouse, its eyes radiating a malevolent glow that penetrated the depths of their souls. With a voice that sent shivers down their spines, the entity revealed the sinister truth. The Hendersons were not random victims, but pawns in a cosmic game of suffering and torment. The farmhouse was a nexus, a convergence point for otherworldly energies that fed the insatiable appetite of the entity. As the Hendersons grappled with the revelation, the entity made an unthinkable demand. It craved an eternal vessel, a sacrifice that would grant it unfathomable power, in exchange for sparing their lives. The parents, consumed by love and desperation, made the ultimate sacrifice. With tear-filled eyes, they offered their own lives in place of their beloved child. As the darkness claimed the souls of the parents, the entity reveled in its newfound power. It seeped into every crevice of the farmhouse, merging with the very essence of the structure itself. The once serene home transformed into a malevolent stronghold, a monument to the suffering endured by the Henderson family. The youngest Henderson, now orphaned and forever marked by tragedy, was left to navigate the twisted labyrinth of their forsaken home. Their soul forever bound to the entity, they became a conduit for its insidious influence, forever haunted by the horrors witnessed and the choices made. From that day forth, the farmhouse stood as a monument to darkness, a beacon for lost souls and a testament to the depths of human despair. Were consumed by the insatiable hunger of the entity, forever trapped in an eternal nightmare. As time stretched on, the memory of the Henderson family faded into obscurity, their sacrifice forgotten by all but the tormented souls who roamed the abandoned estate. The entity, sated but never satisfied, continued to prey on unsuspecting victims, forever perpetuating its cycle of agony and malevolence. And so, its legacy etched into the annals of the supernatural, a chilling reminder that some horrors are not bound by the constraints of time or space. In the heart of Kentucky, a darkness thrived, forever hungry, forever waiting, forever haunting the souls who dared cross its path. And the thud in the night, it echoed through the ages, a grim reminder of the atrocities that unfolded within the forsaken farmhouse's walls, a never-ending symphony of terror and despair.